Hi, I'm Eleanor Meyerhofer, a native Californian designer and digital strategist. In October of 1999, a few years after graduating from design school, I flew from San Francisco to Munich with a fistful of Deutschmarks, a dial-up connection, and an extremely vague plan. 20 plus years later, after a 10-year stint at a global agency, freelancing, and launching 2 online businesses, I'm still here. Now I'm talking to other expat business owners to share knowledge, stories, and inspiration for other non-Germans running businesses in Germany. I am here with Stefania Laventure. I'll try and say her name correctly. And before we jump into the episode, I just want to tell the quick funny story of how Stefania and I met. We actually met in Jonathan Stark's 5-day podcast challenge. And when I thought about I was, defining my ideal interviewee, and I saw that she was in Frankfurt, and we started chatting in the Slack group and realized, you are a perfect person for me to interview. So we've been chatting a bit on LinkedIn, and here we are. And I'm going to ask you, Stefania, the first question I ask everybody on this podcast. Who are you, and can you give me and the audience the 2-minute version of how you ended up in Germany?
Stefania Laventure. I'm French, born and raised in Paris. And how I landed because of love. I met a nice guy as I studied in Germany, the north of Germany. And this nice guy came with me in Paris when we after this year in Germany, and then we lived in Paris for 5 years. I get married to this nice guy, and then my husband found a job in Frankfurt in Germany, and I said, okay, for 2 years I'm in. You're laughing. For 2 years I'm gonna do this. I really loved Germany as I studied, so I was happy to go back. And then here we go. We are since 12 years here in Frankfurt.
Okay, so you had studied in Germany before you met your soon-to-be husband in Paris.
Yes, 1 year.
In
Bremen.
In Bremen. Okay, so yeah, northern Germany. So could you already speak German when you met?
Yes.
And I'm just curious, did you guys speak German or French? Or
if I am angry with him, I speak French, definitely.
But you speak German together?
No, I think we have 3 children, so it's important for us that one has his own language. So I speak French in the family, and he speaks German. He speaks German, yeah.
And with each other?
I would say 2. What about you?
We speak English. My husband's English was when we first met, we spoke German, but his English was always 1,000 times better than my German.
Okay.
And I speak English with our daughter, and he speaks German with her. But our home language is English.
Home language. No, I don't know. I think we make a mix, which not good at all, but we have our own language.
Okay. Okay, so you came to Frankfurt and for 2 years, but 12 years later, you're here and you have a business called Pimp My Product, correct?
Yes, correct.
Can you tell us about that business?
Yeah, this business is about agile goal setting. So my experience is that a lot of founders have a lot of ideas, right? Like you have, and it's hard to be focused. And I work with startups who are growing, and they have some employees, some new employees, and they're trying to onboard everybody, but everybody brings their own ideas, own motivation, and the idea is to help them to get focused so that they find the one domino, so that have more impact in their work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so kind of focus. I noticed you do a lot around OKRs and
objectives and key results. Yeah, right.
And So do you typically work with them? Like, like, what does an engagement look like? Do you start with a workshop and you stay on with coaching, or like,
Yeah, the my typical work, it's about with the workshop. You're absolutely right.
mm,
So my job is to help the team members go get some creativity, so they come to really good ideas to how can we reach as a company our goals.
mhm,
And at the end of the workshop, we had like our three main goals for this quarter,
mhm.
and everybody is super motivated and excited about this. That's what I love about my job. And then I'm making a check-in every week with
Okay.
them to see how they go. And at the end of the quarter, we look at it. What do we reach? What have we learned? And yeah, so on.
Okay. So do you typically work with a team like over a year or like per quarter, or does it vary?
Um, a quarter, and then
Mhm.
in general, they book me again for another quarter, and then they're good.
Okay. And is it only startups, or do you work with corporates, like more established businesses as well?
I already have experience with corporate, but I really like the startups energy
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
they're because they have in general they have a big vision, and it's a little bit chaotic,
Mhm. Mhm.
and but the energy there, and I that's my preference.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So, do you work I mean, I know it's everything's been weird with COVID and stuff, but do you work primarily with startups in Frankfurt or everywhere, or is it remote, or are you on site? Like, how does it typically look?
I do both.
Mhm.
I like remote online because you can make so much quick games, like
Mhm.
breakout rooms in and out, and but I like offline too because of
Mhm.
the coffee breaks.
Yeah.
You get some
Yeah.
insights, you get ready to get people to know people in the coffee breaks. So I like both are how do you say this?
Du kannst es
Vorteil,
auf Deutsch ja.
advantages.
Yeah, okay.
Has advantages, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And but are most of the startups you work with Frankfurt based or all of Germany?
No, all of Germany. Oh, no, all of Germany.
Okay. And is there anywhere I'm just curious, is it mostly in Berlin or is it really all around?
Yes, I have
Yeah.
Berlin and Hessen mostly. Yes, right.
Okay. Okay. Um, I noticed that you actually have a pretty solid background in a lot of corporate companies. So, can you tell me a little bit about your journey, like deciding to go out on your own, and you're a scrum master and you have all these agile qualifications, etc. Like, how did all this come about? Like, how did you start the business and why?
I've started my journey at a consulting company, Bearing Point, a very big consulting
Mhm.
company, and I didn't feel l- on at the right place because as you noticed, I'm people of color, a
Mhm.
woman,
Mhm.
um, and it's like it was in Paris, and in Paris there are a lot of white old men,
Mhm.
and the energy was about this, about this a little bit like the louder you are, the more bring you have to bring
Mm.
a lot of confidence, and
Mhm.
I'm not like this. So
Mhm.
I tried to change
Uh-huh.
myself
Yeah, yeah.
to adapt. And it was really hard for me. I really had really great clients, and it was always a good match with the clients. But in the space, in the company itself, I didn't feel like I could be myself. And then, so we moved to Germany, and then I had another consulting company, but it was the same thing. Like
Mhm.
you just have to adapt yourself. A lot of men. I think consulting. A
Male dominated.
male
Yeah.
dominated extremely. And then I became a mother, and so I wanted not to travel as much. And then I was in the in-house consulting with mother and father, and it was my field. And then I had a startup idea. I think I am an entrepreneur in Seoul. Nobody was surprised, as I said, I want to found my own company because I have a lot of ideas, a lot of energy, and for me it's about fulfillment. Really, I was happy at my work at last, but I wanted more. More freedom, more fulfillment. And so I founded my own startup. I had a digital product idea. My idea was to make a platform for parents so that they help themselves with co-driving.
Oh yeah, like if you have to get somewhere with your kids and you're going to the same place?
Yeah, so you know that you are in your school, and you have a daughter who wants to play the piano. You can put this on the platform, and another woman, another parent from the same school would say, "Okay, we can arrange yourself to bring the kids to the piano." And then I get to the chance to be in an incubator, and I made the startups world. And then I get back to my consulting role because I had so much fun to help other startups to make their vision reality. And this incubator asked me to give workshops to the other startups, and that's what the start where I didn't want to spend time working on my own product. I have much more fun working with other founders, with other teams, to help them make their vision reality. And I think it's my how do you say this? My heart Berufung.
Yeah, your vocation, your calling.
It's my calling because
Yeah.
it gives me so much energy. I love my job, which I don't know I think you also a candidate for this. It's sometimes I say, oh my God, I want just to chill. I don't want to work, but it's like job is my obsession. And sometimes I feel a little bit tired about this.
Yeah. That's interesting. So it was actually the incubator that you found your true work. And so I assume the co-driving thing was like, okay, this is not the thing. It's this thing helping other startups.
Right, absolutely.
But I have a question for you about the startup world, which I am totally not a part of. I worked at a consulting company. Well, it was a digital consulting company and it was tech. And when I started, it was very diverse. And it was here in Munich, but I was in the San Francisco office and I felt right at home. There were like a lot of different kinds of people. But as time progressed, it did get more and more male. Let's put it this way. It wasn't Bearing Point or McKinsey, but I know it's not like I don't know what you're talking about. But it always seemed to me that the startup world was kind of the same. Like in the end of the day, people are just, and tell me if I have the total wrong impression, but it just seems to me like maybe not the startups themselves, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to find all these investors and do stuff for them. And it's like the same guys in a different role. Is that true or no?
I think it's kind of true, but that's why the startup which I really love are not self-owned, so there are no investors behind.
Okay.
And it's not about, yeah, of course it's about money, but it's not only about the money. It's about the impact that we want to produce. It's about the vision. It's about the thing that we want to create. It's about the founder who I work with have a big vision for the world. That's where, and I think the thing that how you can really motivate your employees if they are if they've got their back, if you got that back, because they say, okay, we are in this journey because we want to create this change or whatever.
Yeah, it's a mission kind of
Yeah.
rather than just mercenary.
Purpose driven. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
purpose driven. That's the term we're looking for. So, okay, so you get in this incubator and you find your calling, and then so had you started Pimp My Product right away, or was it a while before you said, okay, I'm going to turn this into a business?
No, I didn't start right away. It was like, okay, I have to work on this co-driving thing, and
Mhm.
okay, but can I do something else for the other startups? Oh no, I have to work on the co-driving thing, and I've noted that it was little by little that I didn't have so much energy for the co-driving thing, but much more in the startup consulting thing, and it
Mhm.
was over little by little. And then I've noticed that that the startups have the same problem with the focus, with the not a lot of resources, not a lot of time, not a lot of money. So they are on the budget. They have to, and and I've noticed that the main struggle was about how to prioritize, how to focus on the smaller things
Mhm.
with the bigger impact.
Okay. And I noted, like, how do you bring your agile background into the work you do?
Um, it's all about the agile backgrounds. It's about what is agile? Agile is about um, testing,
Mhm.
trying things out. It's about learning from your customer,
Mhm.
and for me, it's it the basics from my work, because we tend to want to achieve some outputs, so like how much podcasts do I publish,
Mhm.
and not about, and the most important is how much how much people I can inspire with my podcast, how
Mhm.
much
Mhm.
what it's the real change that you are making with your work. And that's, for me, that's agility.
Yeah, agility. Yeah.
Agility.
Okay, so then when you started Pimp My Product, okay, I'm gonna ask you like some boring like business administration
Oh my.
things. So is it just for people listening, like, okay, so you're married, you didn't have to worry about like visas, anything like, and you're also French. So
I'm
that's
French,
that's
so
that's, that's a non-issue. So you are technically an expat, but you're an EU citizen, so you don't have problems that somebody from the US or India or Canada or wherever, Mexico
mhm.
would have. That was a non-issue for you as a EU citizen, right?
Yeah.
And did you start it as like are you selbstständig or like
Ye-
GmbH or anything like that?
no. Selbst Freiberuflerin,
Okay, so
über Rechtsraum.
self-employed,
Yes.
basically. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did you sort of build up a clientele and a pipeline?
Sorry again.
So how did you get clients and build up like customers?
Uh, recommendation.
Mhm.
Jonathan Stark would wouldn't like this, but for me, it's I'm trying to make more social media,
Mhm.
but I have a lot of recommendation, and I'm on the one hand, I'm happy with this because that means that my clients are happy with me, so, and they
Mhm.
recommend. And but on the other hand, I have the feeling that I'm missing some control.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I would really like to make something like, uh I'm doing a conference for, I don't know, 100 person, and I know that after this conference 20 persons come to me and they are my lead generating model. But
Yeah.
it doesn't work like this for me at this moment, and it's all about recommendation. And sometimes a little bit LinkedIn, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not the main demand.
The more people I talk to, the more they all say the same thing. It's referrals. I mean, yes and no. There's one person who was telling me she gets 10 leads a month through a very specific niche advertising platform. She also serves
Ah,
expats, but that was one example. I know another person and she has like a group program and she does get a lot. She told me of her business through Facebook ads. That's something I'm not going to touch with a 10-foot pole, and I don't have that business model. But like I said, the more I talk to people, I'm like, you know what? Especially if you are a service provider, it is a relationship business.
yeah.
So, and people just want to work with somebody they can trust, and there's kind of no better way than referral. Not that you shouldn't try and do the other things, and we shouldn't all try and like go to a conference and get like 20 leads after speaking, but I'm just kind of becoming more at peace with like the fact that sometimes referrals are not a bad thing and getting the rest of
Yeah.
your business. But I get the feeling of lack of control because you kind of
Yes.
just feel passive, and so
Yes.
the next
It's like
person.
my telephone is ringing, and so do you have time to make a, oh yeah, thank you, but it's like I feel just lucky. It's
Yeah.
no, and I would like to take control, but as I say, so I am on my own since 2 years, more than 2 years now,
Hmm.
and self-employed, sorry, more than 2 years, and it's, for me, it's really a journey. Like, it's also a self-development journey. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
I'm
sure, for
learning
sure.
so much about myself, about my struggles,
Hmm.
like my mindset.
Yeah.
I For the my first invoice, I needed 6 weeks to send my first invoice because
Really?
I felt so uncomfortable to earn some money about for something that I really enjoy to do. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't. It was not a pain. How could I ask for money for this? It was fun, and
Wow. I don't have that problem. I'm very happy to send invoices out very fast. Or you automate it. That's how you get out of that problem. They just go out when the project's over.
yeah.
So just curious, I totally get what you mean about it's like business is a self-development journey and mindset and all that stuff. So I know that you are a follower of Jonathan Stark. Any other people you'd care to share that you kind of follow or enjoy in the business space?
English,
Or German, since this is a German podcast. I do
German,
not know any German people. I'm
German. Oh,
all
you should try Ruta Mekonnen.
okay.
She's about HR and how could you make um, a better workplace.
Okay.
And she's also interviewing some guests.
Okay.
Ruta Mekonnen.
So those are the two people you follow for business advice.
I have another one but in French. It's about growth marketing. I really like this um, that theme, the subject with growth marketing,
Mhm.
because it's also about how could you make some tests and quick wins. How could you win in a faster way?
And who's this person? I'll put it in the show notes. I have an international audience.
Caroline Mignot.
Okay. Okay. I'll
I, I
get those
can I
links in there.
can write you later.
Okay. And so I noticed you were also a Business ambassador.
Yeah.
And I actually went to a Business networking evening here in Munich a couple weeks ago. I really liked it. I thought it was a really good balance of structure and networking, and I liked a lot of the women in there. And then I was sort of on the fence about joining because it was strictly German, and I tend to go be more in international circles. But
Yeah.
there was just a conference here, and I ran into one of the ambassadors here, a woman named Catherine, and or Catalin. Oops.
Catalina, I think.
Yeah, Kathleen, right, the SEO gal,
Yeah.
who's great, and she's a good ambassador. And so I think I am gonna join because it's not just like it's widening your network is always a good idea, and it's not just them, it's who they know as well. But what's that been like for you, being an ambassador for them?
For me, I every year I write off my roles.
Mhm.
So I am a mother, I am a daughter, I am a spouse, a
Mhm.
woman, and the role that I really care about is about the how do you say that? The Rollenmodell, the
Role model.
oh, was not that hard. The role model.
Mhm.
And that thing that I really liked is to inspire some other women.
Mhm.
Um, and that's why I've tried that thing to inspire some to because I think you have to bring some courage to start your own company.
Mhm.
And I really like to show it's hard. I'm not lying. It's not that
Mhm.
easy, but it's possible to 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 make a job or to create your own job
Mhm.
and to be fulfilled. That's why I've started this role as a business ambassador.
Mhm.
And what I do like is, as you say, the networking, the to be to talk about things that are difficult, to talk about our fears, to talk about
Mhm.
adopts, and to be true and authentic.
Mhm. And practically, what does that involve? Do you set up the meetings and the breakfasts and the like, what do you do in that role?
Yeah, practically, you just have to organize one event a month
Mhm.
with a community.
Okay. Online or offline or either?
Offline, we are doing this
Okay.
offline. So you have to. We had so for example, we had a location now in WeWork, so we
Mhm.
meet every month in WeWork.
Mhm.
And that's all. We try to make the people feel comfortable at the event,
Mhm.
welcome them, and that's all. And I like this.
Okay, cool. And is this separate? I also noticed you had these digital networking lunches.
Yeah,
Tell me about those.
that's also a lot of a dream from of mine to mm, to make people help one another because I
Mhm.
think that's you can it's you are touching my why because with the driving platform, the co-driving platform is the
Mhm.
same idea. How can we put our strengths together to
Mhm.
make something bigger?
Mm.
And that's I am from my parents are from Martinique. My roots are from Martinique, from Caribbean,
Mhm.
and they also have not a lot of resources there. So in term of money and in term of employees, and you have to be smart to out of the a small out of small resources to make something big. And
Mhm.
that's all a little bit the idea behind of my why. How can we put our things together to make something big? And that was my idea with the digital meetups, but also
Mhm.
the now I'm doing this in Frankfurt, women only,
Mhm.
B2B woman, because it's I think it's quite harder as a woman to be in the B2B world.
Mhm.
And how can we get together to meet some new clients, to make maybe a brand? It's just
Mhm.
a test,
Mhm.
but it's really cool because we are all working on our own, but
Mhm.
when we get together, we're working on themes that are important for us, and then we want to grow on. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. So wait, this is separate from the digital networking lunches.
Digital networking lectures, I've kind of paused because
Uh-huh.
I found it difficult to get this relationships,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
we are going to a digital lunch, and then um, when it's over, everybody's
Okay.
is out, and you don't have those deep relationships that you can have in the offline world, you know?
So the B2B, the women's B2B meetup, that is in person in Frankfurt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think
You've
this is interesting. I noticed that there are a lot of online groups, like you can go to Facebook groups and there's business, but there does have to be some local offline component to really have something flourish
I
because
think for the start it's important.
mhm,
That was
mhm,
also my as I tried really maybe 10 times the digital things,
mhm,
and I didn't have the feeling that I get this connection, that
mhm,
hard connection with the people. So I say, okay, I will try offline, and then if it's growing,
mhm.
maybe online to make it bigger. But at the beginning, I think it makes sense when we are offline.
Okay. And so how did you get that offline thing going? Also through your networks?
Yes, I just made a post.
Mhm,
Who wants to be there? There are a
mhm.
couple of men who asked if but they didn't uh, pay attention
Uh-huh.
to the post. But yeah,
Mhm. Okay. All right, cool. Um, so I d I hesitate to ask this question, but I have to. So you've got you said a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
yes,
So how do you make all this work? I mean, the 9 I'm hoping I have a 6-year-old that, like, at 9, they're more self-sufficient, but 2, I don't care. I mean, we're one and done, so I'll never have to go through the toddler years again, but how do you do it with 3 kids?
um, that's a difficult question. What do you mean exactly?
Well, I just know that I feel personally like my day and my husband's very hands-on and he has an 80% contract. But your day, like I'm gonna get off this podcast and then I got like 90 minutes before I have to go to kindergarten and pick up. And then my day's over. My work day's over.
Yeah.
And I would
Oh yeah.
love to work like a full day, 10 to 4:30 or 5. I mean, there's a certain point when you're not productive anymore anyway. But
That's
I
a
always
point.
feel like my time is cut short, like just an
Yeah.
hour or 2 short.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think with 3 kids, that would be even more the case.
No, I don't think so, but I have the same feeling as you have. I would like to have 1 hour more in the day, but I think you always have this feeling, right? I think it's as you
Mhm,
say, the thing that you have to get productive, and that's what I
mhm,
like.
mhm.
Because if I didn't have my kids, I think I would work from morning to
Yeah,
night,
yeah,
and it would be ugly because I
yeah,
didn't wouldn't look at the sun. So
yeah,
I think sometimes I really say really I don't want to, I don't have time. What I really don't like is that the children are getting sometimes sick.
yeah, oh, yeah.
That's really hard, but with my husband, as like yours, we are really 50-50. So
Mhm,
it's not always myself, which is who
mhm,
is obliged to stay with the kid. But I think as a mother, we are really, really more productive.
mhm,
Um, and I think, as I said, with the focused, we have to make the things done.
mhm.
So we will do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And even if you had 2 hours for this podcast, I think it would be minimal better, but
Mhm,
not that much.
mhm.
And that the thing I think that we prioritized and are really productive.
Yeah, you just have to be ruthless in your prioritizing and just
Yeah,
getting what needs to be done.
yeah. And I don't think I am a very disciplined person. I just normal,
Mhm.
but with this time box,
Yeah,
you
it's
have to
yeah, yeah.
you have to.
It's a forced time box, which, yeah,
Yeah.
and it in its own way is good. It is good because, yeah, I would just work endlessly, but I would probably be less productive and like doing a little of this and a little of that because I didn't have anything forcing me to like really look at what I have to do.
But I don't want to look like the perfect mother. I mean, my apartment, it's terrible. It's messy, it's dirty. I'm overwhelmed with a lot of things that I
Mhm.
don't manage to do, but it's okay. I mean, my children, I think they're really happy. And right now, my flat is not a priority.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Do you
But
work at home?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That is a little bit of a struggle for me because I'm a neat freak and I cannot work when the house is a mess. And so I really wrestle with, okay, when everybody leaves in the morning, do I spend 35 minutes getting this place like
Oh, no.
tolerable or do I just start working? It's every day a struggle. But I've kind of just made peace with like I just has to be a little bit not spotless, but just in Ordnung so I can focus.
But you have your room, right?
No, well, I do this podcast in my bedroom because the sounds that are in here.
Ah, okay.
But we have a little S Kochecke, and that's like our office. So we kind of did it so that
Oh,
that's the
oh,
work
that's
area.
hard.
So it's all like if there's dishes from the
Yeah,
morning,
I
I just
no.
can't do it. I have to
Yeah,
clean it
yeah.
up. And
Me neither. Yeah.
I had a Gemeinschaftsbüro but I'm giving that up because I actually like working at home. And it was great during COVID because there were some days where I had to do stuff and I do this launch in a day website. So it's like I have to be super focused for 6 hours.
Mm.
And a couple times my daughter was sick and it was COVID and I couldn't go to co-working. I couldn't do anything. And it was really terrible. So then I got a workspace. But now that's not such a big deal because you can like I can go to co-working if like there's mind space and stuff down here. So I can if she's sick, I have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would be nice to have a home office. But yeah, so anyways, that's just a tangent about uh housework. And I think it's for women, it's a bigger deal. Like I think my husband, everything there could be clothes everywhere, dishes everywhere, and he just sit down and like he would not know it would not bother him. I do think there is a difference.
Yeah, I think so. But I have a work area where it's really only for my work, and that's why I just don't see the rest of their apartment.
Ah, so you do have an office
Yeah.
in yours. Okay, yeah, that you're living the dream. I
With
do not. With toys. There's some toys on a shelf in the background. Okay. But that would go a long way if I could go in some room and just close the door. But I don't know what it's like in Frankfurt, but there is a super big housing crunch. We have a great apartment, but it's 3 rooms, not 4. So it'll be that way for a while. But anyways, Stefania, it was really wonderful talking to you. And can you just tell us where people can find you?
LinkedIn and
Okay.
Instagram
Okay.
but LinkedIn.
And I noticed you do have a website, but you have all
Yes.
your links on like a link in bio, like a link tree or something, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. So I will put all that in the show notes.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Thanks for listening. You can find this episode and all other episodes of the Germany Expat Business Show at my website at www.eleanormeyerhofer.com/podcast. That's www.eleanormayerhofer.com/podcast. See you next time.